Disclosure Day.
Yes.
More
Disclosure
like
Day.
Disappointment Day, am I right?
Oh, controversial that.
That was
Spielberg's
about
finest, is it not? No.
Is it?
No.
It's not really, is it?
No, it was very disappointing.
Yeah, I kind of we're a little bit late to the party, but
Yes.
it's kind of interesting to see what people are saying about it. But I think I just remember that almost sitting there, and even weirdly from the beginning of the film, it kind of felt like it just didn't get going for me.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it wasn't the beginning of the film wasn't kind of as much of a hook as it could have
it wasn't
been.
it wasn't that exciting. It was
You
very
felt
static.
it felt like there was an opportunity to go straight into it.
Yeah.
And be full of energy, and it didn't feel like it was. And then there were just some points sort of throughout the middle of the film that I wasn't wearing a watch, but if I was, I'd probably kind of be checking my watch a couple of times.
I was wearing my watch,
Yeah.
and I did a couple times because, like you're saying, that the first part, it kind of felt like a really slow paced way to set up a really supposedly tense like chase or like them on the run sequence. But I just felt like it didn't have any energy for that. Like we start off, and then he's like, "Oh, hello, Jane," and all, all that stuff. But it just
I think we started.
Yeah, it just was. It was a very slow start, and I do agree. When it was getting to the middle section of the film, it was really losing pace for me. Where I was just a bit like, and the characters were doing frustrating things. Where I try not to be one of these people and say, "Oh, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense." But
a lot of the time, if it's something nitpicky and it doesn't take you out of the film, but if it's something
like jarring
that literally makes no sense, and it seems like it was just allowed to be that way to be a convenience for the plot.
Exactly, it was literally said. So we had the whole scene where what's Colin Firth's character called? I have no clue. We'll just go with Colin. Is it Colin Firth?
Yeah, it's Colin Firth.
Yeah, it's Colin Firth. Okay.
Colin Firth? It's Colin Firth. It's not Colin Farrell because Colin Farrell's the Irish one. It's Colin Firth.
Colin Firth. So anyway, Colin Firth, when he first goes into Jane's mind using that power, like
Hello, Jane.
He sees things through her perspective. Yet she goes and then obviously tries to get her to kill him, whatever. But then when they're in the motel, got this thing is like, oh, you know what you got to do, like tie me up, whatever. Literally teleports. We had that whole scene, and it was like 10 minutes long of like, I'm inside her mind now using this thing, and Jane this and all that, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then it got to the next one where she's aware of this now, and she's trying to help, but she knows this could happen to her. Literally just ties her to the bed. This changes to the next scene, and then she just sees it. And it's like, oh yeah, we know where they are now. It's like, and it did that a couple times as well. It's like they get captured, but then there'll be some reason why they were able to get out, and I don't know. It just felt very.
And I can forgive, like, kind of a little bit of a bad plot if your characters are interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought the vast majority of the characters in this were pretty poor.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, the protagonist, what was his name? I can't remember. The guy, he was in Josh O'Connor, something like that. He's in a few. He's in Challenges. He's in
Knives Out.
The third Knives Out film. But I just felt like he kind of had no personality.
Yeah.
And I felt like that about. I don't know if it was his performance, but I felt like that about a few of the characters. I felt like that about Colin Firth's character. The only character I didn't feel like that about was Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Because I thought it weirdly.
It was convincing how she was acting like in that scenario.
She
you really
seemed to put a lot into it, and it felt like a lot of people were phoning it in that film. And I did, and also it's, when you're watching, it weirdly pivots from like it seems like it's just about the main guy, and then it kind of pivots to being about Emily Blunt's character. I don't know what I was expecting, and I know sometimes you go into films and I never want to be like, oh, it was bad because it wasn't what I expected.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I just felt like there were so many things that I was left wanting. I found the ending seemed like it was being provocative, but I just thought it was a bit of a cop-out.
Yeah, with the actors, you say with the main guy, it felt like the same way we felt the plot lacked that energy. And from the start, in terms of intensity, it felt like a lot of the performances, other than Emily Blunt's characters, really lacked that as well. In this scenario where it's like, the stakes here are so massive. And so game changing for the whole world, as the whole point builds up to. but we're seeing these people, and I didn't really buy it. I didn't really feel like they, other than Emily Blunt, when these things are happening to her, and you're like, wow, her performance there. You could really buy like this is horrible, like confusing things are happening. But the rest of them were incredibly like disappointing. I do agree with you. You're like, why do I felt like as well? Why do we need so many of these characters who kind of all just lacked any sort of energy and just diluted the plot more? But
I know it kind of just felt to me, I felt like the ending was a cop out in terms of the whole film. Like we're saying, the marketing being about how do people react? How do people react to finding out this information that's been kept from them for so long? And it doesn't answer it.
No.
It doesn't have an answer for it.
No.
It doesn't even try and have an answer for it. It just does the thing where it's like, oh, well, we wheel the aliens out. The aliens are here now. We see it all. And we cut before we see anything. And it's like...
It's just vague last...
If the film wanted to be ballsy or, in my opinion, more interesting, then the disclosure should have happened at the beginning.
Yeah.
Nobody would have seen that coming.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of thinking, well, I assumed that it was going to happen exactly as it happened.
Yeah. In like the first quarter of the film, where that is like the whole chase sequence bit at the start is like building this off like, oh, we're going to release it. And then they did. And then the rest of the film are the consequences of those things and what that comes and all that stuff would I think make for a really interesting and, like you're saying, like ballsy kind of move of it. But this was exactly what you expected. And if anything, a really underwhelming version of that anyway. The whole thing of the backdrop of World War III, and it just felt like it was. I get it; it's not the point. But this idea where they touched it, it's like, oh, where they need to have this empathy to that's what's stopping humans evolving.
But that to me is another cop out.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what the film's about, right?
Yeah.
But that's always been the thing with alien films. It's always been the thing that the whole I come in peace. We expect them to be malignant and to be coming after us, but actually we're the ones going after them.
Yeah.
That's always been the thing with aliens. So this is nothing new, and it's not saying anything new.
Yeah.
It felt like to me that the film maybe was a little bit out of touch. Like it seems to be, Spielberg made a UFO film in the 70s.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much exactly what this was.
Yeah.
In terms of, there's nothing new or groundbreaking. My point is, you could make this film exactly as it was in the 80s and nothing would be different. There's nothing new about it. There's nothing, he has an opportunity to make a film, especially like the way the world is now. And he kind of hints at the World War III thing, but again, feels very generic and sort of brushed under the carpet. And like, we expect to believe that it's big because you've mentioned Russia and because you've mentioned the US
and Korea and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, but you never explore it. And then, as a director, as the most prominent director in the world, who's got a lot of power, who's got a lot of influence, he's in America right now. It kind of felt like, he's American, so it kind of feels like the film could have had something a bit more political to say, because everyone's got their opinions, and that Hollywood is full of Democrats, really. But it's like, it felt like it could have said something contemporary. It felt like it could have said something relevant, and it felt like there could have been a bit more around the whole, maybe the world building of what was going on. It felt to me like you make this film exactly the same way as he made a film in the 80s, and there's no real reason. I struggle to find a reason that it exists. Like the whole thing is about empathy. It's like, well, that's always been the thing. There's nothing new here.
That is very true. Like you're saying, that is what it was like in the original ones, right? Like, I do agree with you. It is just such a nothing film. Like we even said at the start, like slightly late to the party doing it because we both saw it last week. But it's very forgettable as well. Like it wasn't. One of the things I do have to mention as well, from my point of view, that is an even bigger disappointment is I saw this film in IMAX and I was so excited for this because again, from the trailer, you're seeing spaceships falling through the clouds and, the chase sequences and it's cut to some maybe like more intense music because it's a trailer. So I feel it really like set that tone of like, wow, this is the reason you go to the IMAX, the big IMAX screen, the whole feeling, the sound, everything. I'm sat in there. I'm so excited. You get all the adverts beforehand. I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be good. And then I'm just watching it. This is the first time I've gone to see films and maybe IMAX screens that I probably thought, oh, it's worse than this film, because I don't think it's just, my biggest problem is it's so average and forgettable and kind of pointless, like you said. But I've seen films like Transformers and which I know in a lot of ways are worse than this, but going to see them in IMAX felt like it was worth it. You'd get like these big shots of cities and loads of big fights, whatever. It felt like that was worth going to the IMAX. And the way this film was advertised, I thought it was going to have that real like cinema like IMAX feel to it. For me, it really didn't. I just sat there and I was like, I paid extra for this, and I don't think there was a single shot in this film I'm like, yeah, that really shows off like why it's in this format.
Yeah.
And again, when I saw Dune 2 in IMAX, I'm like, yeah, like this is so good. It's even Nope, which again I thought disappointing. IMAX is amazing, but this film very underwhelming in the visual department for me. I thought it was very, it was in so many ways just disappointing and forgettable. And for the greatest director in film, I just feel like I've seen a lot of his films, and maybe they're not for me. I haven't seen some of the ones that the classics, fine, but we watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I do agree with you. This film just kind of felt like that, but with a new lick of paint.
With a new lick of paint, and added nothing. And this film was marketed as this. It was almost like it was supposed to be like the official film of like from the US State Department or something. You know what I mean? It felt like it was going to be this thing they were releasing
Steven,
about aliens.
We need you to make us a film.
Yeah, like they were soft launching an alien and aliens through a Spielberg film. That's what I felt like they were doing. They were going to be doing this whole thing, and you watch this film and it's just like, what a cop out. They get to the end of the film and she says, "Listen," and I'm like,
yeah, is that them saying they're testing the waters? They're seeing how people react to the film, so they go, well, maybe we shouldn't say anything.
Not reacting at all.
Yeah, yeah. They go, maybe if we do it like this.
A lot of critics. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. I mean, what I will say in a positive way is the last half an hour, 20 minutes was by far the best. It's like the way the film should have been. It picked up a real intensity, and you start seeing people's reactions. But again, it's just the basic stuff. You just see people looking at it on the subway. It's like, I've seen that in films before. I've seen that exact thing.
I do agree with you. I think in agreement to that last 20 minutes, I was like, also a slight negative. I feel like that news anchor had like some of the most energy in terms of reaction in the film. Like some of these things were so like, it was just such a lack of energy.
I also talked about Coleman Domingo.
Yeah.
Because like, again, there's nothing really to talk about.
I really like him as an actor.
I like him as well.
He was so like just.
He's not giving any. None of them are giving anything. They're just walking around and explaining the situation, and you don't feel really any stakes. I didn't.
No.
And because they're just constantly telling you the stakes that you should feel. Coleman Domingo is constantly walking around saying, "Look, we need to release it because people need the truth. People are starved for the truth," over and over and over again. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I know, but like that's always been the thing. Again, it's that you're not adding anything new. There's nothing revolutionary. It's not even presented in a way that's revolutionary. It feels like I just would have rather seen Spielberg do something else.
Yeah,
I thought his last film was better. I thought that film was way better.
What was his last film?
Oh, I forget the name of it now. I saw it in the cinema. What was it called? The Fabelmans.
Oh yeah. That was about the guy at the cinema.
It's about him basically.
Okay.
But like, it's like that felt like it had something more to it at least than this, and this just didn't feel like it had. And again, it was presented as this swan song for Spielberg and for John Williams and like his last score and all this stuff, and it's presented in this way.
Say what? His last one?
I think so. Meant to be it now.
That is so disappointing. That's what I'm saying.
94, isn't it?
Like,
but it's like I think Spielberg. I was kind of expecting it to be a big swan song, and now I'm just like, hurry up and make something else, because it's not like, this is not the kind of thing I want to. Like, I'm gonna remember,
No. Well, again, I saw it a week ago, and there's a lot of chunks of the film. Like, obviously, I remember it, but it just, I could sit here and say there was some really confusing like things I saw characters do. Whereas I remember the bit where they finally arrive at the set, and then like obviously she's bugging out, and I really bought that as well because she's like stressed of like all these things. I look at someone I know everything about and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm buying it. Like, she's selling it well. But then there was a bit with some women. She went up to some women, and then she just like, I swear she kneeled it and did the sign of the cross. I was like, I watched that, but I was like, what? I was so confused. Like that as an interaction, they're trying to like keep her like relaxed.
Yeah.
But then they're doing this.
But again, the religion element in the film was like kind of everything that was put in there. It was like a load of stuff that was put in there, but not really thought about in too much detail.
So they just like kind of like
it's there, but it doesn't really do anything for you.
Sometimes it's like they kind of would mention something and then go, oh yeah, we got that there, and we'd mention it again like 20, 40 pages later.
Yeah, and it's like that's not a payoff because I didn't care in the first place.
Yeah, now you've bought. Like, oh, you mentioned it before. Okay, relevant, but you've mentioned it again. I guess it was.
It's weird because it's like
relevant, I guess. But
again, the way we're talking about this film, I want to be clear. Like this isn't like
it's not bad.
This isn't like the terrible. This isn't Mandalorian and Grogu. Right? This isn't like things like that.
It's not a bad film. It's just the expectation. It's disappointing. It's massively disappointing.
I just think if I'm being fair and I'm not looking through rose-tinted glasses because it's Spielberg and I want it to be good because it's Spielberg, there are a few Spielberg films I haven't liked.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like Close Encounters.
No.
I didn't like that at all. I don't particularly like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I do. I like the Indiana Jones.
And I thought E.T. was all right.
From what I remember, I think I'm probably in that same boat. Like, okay, good.
But yeah, so it's like a lot of his films. Like again, some of his films I love. I think Jurassic Park's great. Saving Private Ryan's great. Schindler's List is great. Like that's an outrageous. Them three on their own is outrageous. You know. But yeah, I kind of thought, is that it? You know, for a Spielberg film, is that it?
Yeah.
You know, again, if I'm not looking through those rose-tinted glasses, the characters were boring. The way the story unraveled was boring.
I think how it was shot.
The consequences were boring. The way it was shot, I didn't think was anything in particular.
The way that the acting was pretty boring.
Yeah.
It was just like we could go back over it a million times, but
also random thing. I love a lens flare. Lens flare city in that film.
Yeah.
It was like Jesus. I know Spielberg likes lens flares too, but like they were like just so many and so many things.
True.
I was like, Jesus.
Because I like them, but I think there's
a time
like
and a place.
Yeah, and it's like a bit like, why am I seeing a lens flare right now?
Yeah, like if I need to see a character's like emotion on a character's face, I shouldn't be seeing a lens flare.
Also, just to say as well, it's like Colin Firth, every time he enters a scene, just sat in a chair was hilarious. I genuinely think like 9% of the scenes he's in, he starts by being sat in a chair.
Yeah.
Hello, Jane.
And it kind of felt like this device was like a bit of a weird like.
Yeah, there was a lot of like MacGuffin-y stuff with that. Where I'm like,
I just didn't care about.
Yeah, because they were chasing after that, but then they didn't care after a point of like trying to chase after that object because he took that. And he held it, and they didn't want to shoot him because he was holding it. But then
and Boyd or whatever his name was, Mark Donovan from the Inbetweeners. Did you call me a liar? Call you disrespect me?
Yeah.
Boyd. Inside that.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, Boyd. I thought like again, just he was an idiot. Like he was kind of just chasing people around.
And then just walk off.
Nothing,
they just walk off.
Left, yeah.
Like he tried to kill them earlier. Like he literally was shooting at them whilst they're like a train's crashing into their car. And then he comes on, he's like, you're not going to do anything. I'm like, well, why don't you do something? Like, you probably got a gun. Like, I don't know. Weird. Like, it was just...
I didn't feel much of it. I think I gave it 3 stars because, again, it's not bad enough in that sense to be lower than that or for me to say it's dog shit. But, like...
It's hella forgettable.
It's just not good. It's forgettable. And I am disappointed by it. And that is 2 of my top 5 struck out. So, I wasn't the biggest fan of the back rooms.
No, I thought...
Which we'll get into in another video.
But I
wasn't the biggest fan of the back rooms, and I was not the biggest fan of Disclosure Day. So I'm hoping, and I did like the new trailer for The End of Oak Street. I thought that was really good.
I think I said, that
so I'm looking forward to that one, and that's out in August. But next... We've got, so what films? For films, I mean, Toy Story 5's out soon.
Yeah, The Odyssey's not far off.
The Odyssey's next month, less than a month away.
Yeah.
And TV-wise, we're going to have House of the Dragon.
Yes!
Which is when?
Yeah, 21st.
Of
June.
So we'll do that.
That'll be coming soon,
We'll do that 4 at a time. We did The Boys.
That'll be coming very soon. Isn't Spider-Man coming out soon?
Spider-Man's July as well, I think.
Oh, sick.
So we're pretty stacked up for July in terms of stuff to do. But then... We're also going to do a video. We kind of missed the back rooms, and we're going to talk about that whole situation, the back rooms and Obsession and everything that's going on there in another video. So yeah, we've got plenty to come.
Sweet.
So happy days.
There we go. As Disclosure said, just noise, white
Time
noise.
to disclose this video.